let's talk about budgeting. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Spreadsheets, rules, no more fun, right? But what if we completely flipped that idea on its head? What if a budget isn't a cage, but actually the key that unlocks real financial freedom? Well, today we're going to demystify the whole thing and turn budgeting from something you dread into your single most powerful tool for taking back control of your money.
You know the feeling, right? Payday hits, you pay your bills, you do your thing, and then you look at your bank account a week later and think, wait, seriously, where did it all go? It's this super common, super frustrating mystery. And that's exactly the problem we're going to solve today. We're going to give you the clarity to see exactly where every single dollar is headed.
All right, so here's our roadmap. First, we'll crack the money mystery to see why we spend in the first place. Then we get practical with needs versus wants. After that, we'll find the perfect budgeting method for you, figure out how to make it actually last, and finally, we'll zoom out to see the big picture. Sound good? Let's dive in.
Okay, first up, the money mystery. Because here's the thing. Before you can build a budget that actually works, you have to understand the why. Why do we buy the things we buy? It turns out our financial decisions are almost never just about the numbers. Nope, they're deeply tied to what's going on inside our own heads.
And this is so fascinating. We often spend money to deal with our feelings. You have a stressful day at work, and what happens? That online shopping cart starts looking real good. You have a great day, and suddenly you're treating everyone to dinner. It's a real thing. Our feelings are constantly driving our financial choices, making our bank account a kind of emotional diary. So, there's actually a science to this. It's called the theory of planned behavior. But don't worry, it's way simpler than it sounds. Think about it like this. You see a new phone. Your attitude is, wow, I love that new feature. The social norm is that feeling of, well, everyone else is upgrading. And your perceived control is thinking, yeah, I can swing the monthly payments. Boom. Those three things together pretty much guarantee you're going to buy it. So the big takeaway here is that our spending isn't random. It's a pattern. And once you see the pattern, you can start to change it.
All right, let's move on to the next piece of the puzzle. Welcome to needs versus wants. This is, without a doubt, the bedrock of any solid budget. It's all about learning to draw a clear line between what you have to spend money on and what you choose to spend money on. And the magic term here is discretionary spending. It's just a fancy way of saying all the non-essential stuff. The wants, the dinners out, the streaming subscriptions, the weekend trips. This is the area where your budget has all its power, because every single dollar you can pull back from this category is a dollar you can point directly at your biggest financial goals.
So let's make this super clear. On one side, you've got your essential needs. We're talking a roof over your head, lights and water, food in the fridge, insurance, the non-negotiables. Then, on the other side, you have the wants. And look, this is the fun stuff, but it's also where you have flexibility. You can dial these things up or down. The very first step to a real budget is just taking a piece of paper and sorting all your expenses into these two columns.
Okay, so we know why we spend and we've sorted our spending. Now it's time to pick our tool. In this section, choosing your budgeting method, we're going to look at a couple of popular systems. And just remember, the best budget in the world isn't the most complicated one. It's the one you'll actually use.
Let's compare two of the heavyweights. First up, zero-based budgeting. The idea here is simple. Every single dollar that comes in gets a job. Your income minus everything you spend, save, or invest should equal zero. It gives you incredible control, but I'll be honest, it can be a lot of work. Now, if that sounds a little intense, check out the 50-30-20 rule. It's way more relaxed. 50% of your take-home pay goes to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings. It's simple, balanced, but that same flexibility can let you get a little sloppy if you're not careful. So who are you, the detailed planner or the big picture thinker? And here's a really cool hands-on method that pairs perfectly with zero-based budgeting, the cash envelope system. This is all about making spending feel real again. You figure out your budget, pick out your trouble spots, maybe it's groceries or eating out, and you put the cash for each into a separate, labeled envelope. When you go to the store, you pay with the cash from that envelope. And when the cash is gone, it's gone. No more spending in that category for the month. It creates a physical limit that a credit card swipe just can't. Now we get to the really important part, making your budget last. Because let's be real, a budget looks great on paper, but a budget that can survive a Tuesday afternoon temptation or an unexpected car repair, that's a whole other ballgame. So let's talk about how to budget in the real world. Oh man, this is a huge one. If you're a freelancer or in sales or work on commission, this question is everything.
How in the world do you budget for fixed bills when your income is all over the place? It can feel completely impossible, but I promise there's a clear strategy that works every time. Here's the secret. You budget for your worst month, not your best one. First, add up the absolute bare minimum you need to survive each month. Next, look at the last year of your income and find your lowest paying month. That number, that's your new baseline salary. You build your entire budget as if that's all you're going to make. Then, any money you earn above that baseline is a bonus. It goes straight to savings or debt. And the foundation for all of this, the safety net, is a solid emergency fund. Okay, here is a simple but incredibly powerful trick to defend your budget against those impulse buys we talked about. For any non-essential purchase over, say, $50, you force yourself to wait 24 hours. Don't buy it. Just put it on a list and walk away. This one little rule creates a cooling off period. It gives your logical brain time to catch up with your emotional brain and ask, wait, do I really need this? For our final section, we're going to zoom all the way out and look at budgeting the big picture. I want to show you that these skills you're learning, they're not just for managing your grocery bill. They are the exact same principles that run the biggest, most successful companies on the planet. Seriously? Think about what you're doing with a personal budget. You're forecasting your income. That's revenue. You're planning for your bills. That's allocating expenses. And you're making sure you don't run out of money. That's managing cash flow. You are literally being the chief financial officer of your own life. It's not just a little personal finance habit. It's a high-level strategic skill. And look at this. The process is identical. A company defines its objectives. You set your financial goals. They review past performance. You look at last month's spending. They forecast revenue and estimate costs. You plan your income and your expenses. And number 5 is the most important one. They constantly review and adjust. Your budget should never be a static document you make in January and forget. It's a living, breathing plan that you check in with and tweak every single month. So there you have it. We've gone from the psychology of why you click buy now, all the way to the strategies that run huge corporations. We've seen that a budget isn't a restriction at all, it's a plan. It's a tool that lets you finally tell your money where to go instead of just wondering where it went. You've got the psychology, the categories, the methods, and the real-world strategies. The only question left is the one right here. What financial story are you going to write?